I mean, that's absolutely dope. The thing is, Greeny, if you're as good as Justin Jefferson at anything, you can get away with the Stone Cold.
What about the vest? You like the vest?
Stone Cold. If he gonna play like he played last night, I love a studded vest.
Stone Cold.
Oh
Absolutely.
my God, he do look like Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Absolutely.
And yet I don't feel like I could pull it off under almost any circumstance.
No chance.
All right, we roll on this Tuesday. Tuesday takeaways. Jeffrey, Saturday, what was your biggest takeaway from week one?
Oh, AFC playoffs goes through Buffalo. Josh Allen, what a performance they put on with this comeback. This reminds me of Colts, Patriots back in the day. Whoever won the home field, you knew you were having to go back for playoffs. Obviously, Baltimore's going to have to travel back to Buffalo if everything goes according to plan. And they got a good schedule, Buffalo does, so it's going through there.
Dominique, is Josh Allen the best quarterback in the NFL?
Absolutely. Like, I don't know how else you can argue anything otherwise given what he did last week.
MVP.
Like, it was him and Lamar Jackson last year where you could go either way. If you just tackle on week one, then it's clearly that Lamar Jackson is better than anyone else in football playing that position.
Yeah, they're scary, man. They should absolutely have the 1 seed. They don't leave the Eastern time zone but one time all regular season, and this was the game. They both played it like it was a playoff game, right? Because they know it could matter in terms of where that playoff rematch is, and you do not trust me. You do not want to be in Buffalo in January.
I dare somebody on Tuesday morning to come and try to make an argument for somebody other than Josh Allen after witnessing what he did Sunday night.
I may in a few minutes when we get to Patrick Mahomes, but let me get to a different one first. J-Mac, give me your Tuesday takeaway.
Oh, man, New York's trash is another city's treasure. Aaron Rodgers, Daniel Jones get kicked out of New York, kicked off the subway, and here they are in another city performing. They were two of the best quarterbacks in the NFL on Day.
Yes, I know Aaron was on the subway a lot when he was quarterbacking.
On his way to the commercial airport.
If you know, you know. Go. Here's the question. Obviously, I watched every snap of that game against the Jets defense that we think is going to be at least pretty good with Aaron Glenn. How good was Aaron Rodgers, or maybe more to the point, how sustainable for Pittsburgh was what we saw?
I don't think it's a sustainable, the way Aaron played was fantastic. The Jets helped him some. Like, let's just be honest. They're an aggressive, I thought they were overly aggressive, honestly. Played too close to the line of scrimmage. You got a guy who's played, 2 decades of NFL football. He understands where guys' positions and why they matter and can pick you apart. I would have played a little bit less and made him beat me with his legs or at least the running game.
I mean, this is not a sustainable model, way of winning for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Right.
The defense is going to have to play a lot better. I thought Aaron Rodgers was like he was last year. Like, I didn't have the reaction that I think a lot of people had where it's like, oh, my gosh, Aaron Rodgers turned back the clock and he was great. I thought he was okay.
It's okay. He took what was there. Like, he also took 4 sacks. Well, that's not sustainable.
He threw the ball to the other team, hit the other guy's face.
Dropped interceptions. They got a gift turnover on a kickoff, right, from the Jets, and they needed a 60-yard field goal to win it. No, I don't think it's sustainable. I think they're going to have to tighten things up on defense, and they're going to have to really, really protect Aaron Rodgers, because when he was kept clean, he was sharp. He can still throw. He can still figure out who's open and who's going to be. But if he's under pressure, he can't get away from it, and that is going to be a problem.
I will say that, Chris Boswell, that kick would have been good from 80 yards.
Yeah, Boswell was unbelievable. With all of that said, Aaron Rodgers still had 8 incompletions and 4 touchdowns. The combination of him and Arthur Smith, the play action, then him still standing up in the shotgun, getting the ball out quick, getting the ball into DK Metcalf's hands and letting him be a catch-and-run guy. Jonnu Smith, another guy that'll be a catch-and-run guy. To me, when I watched him, yes, the defense has to play better, but offensively, what Rodgers was able to do, some of the throws on the run. Did the Jets leave people wide open? Absolutely. I tell my Pee Wee football team, don't worry about who's on the schedule, just go out there and execute. And they did that, and they won the game, and Rodgers played well.
He looked better to me than he did at any point when he was on the Jets, which probably says as much about the Jets as it does about anything else. All right, Tuesday takeaways. Dominique, what's yours?
We got to get some help down there for Patrick Mahomes. They might need to call Tyreek and make that trade. These are some situations where Mahomes, of course, there's some pressure, but the deep threat is going to predicate the strength of this offense and most offenses in football. And you watch this game, when you watch the All-22, the Chargers were sitting on routes, just letting Hollywood Brown run up on their chest before they would even turn. And then he's throwing deep balls that no one's getting open. This guy is frustrated there, too. It's worth a chance for both teams to get a little bit of a fresh start.
So, Graziano, math was never my strong point, but am I putting 2 and 2 together here? You got the Chiefs, who desperately seem to need something. You got the Dolphins, who look ready to splinter, and he's obviously not happy. This feels too obvious not to happen.
It makes some sense, and you also, like, the Chiefs always trade for a veteran wide receiver at the trade deadline, so it would make a lot of sense. Look, it's too early, I think, for the Dolphins to give up on their season and give up on their program, so I don't think it happens.
I saw it. I'm not sure you'd say that.
I don't think it happens soon, but I do think it could get to a point where that happens. There's no doubt. You know, the Chiefs, like, talking to people there after the game, like, they had a Xavier Worthy-centric game plan, and he got hurt on the third play. So you see these deep shots to Tyquan Thornton. He's got that timed up with Xavier Worthy from weeks and weeks and weeks of practice, whereas Tyquan Thornton's been catching the ball from, Gardner Minshew. So they weren't quite on. The week and a half to fix it might look better.
On the other side of it, you called the game.
Yeah.
I mean, the Dolphins, was it as bad as it looked on TV?
It was. And specifically when you're talking about Tyreek Hill and Tua Tagovailoa, the offense got nothing going. They had 0 points going into the fourth quarter, 3 turnovers in that game. So, yes, when you see a frustrated Tyreek Hill on the sideline, it was with reason. They were really bad offensively in that game.
Yeah, they were horrible. And Tyreek is frustrated, but if you watch him, Tyreek sometimes didn't know where to go. The offensive line's dropping protection. The running backs don't do what they're supposed to do. It was a colossal failure at all kinds of levels. Let me say this about the Tyreek Hill thing. A lot of stuff has been said from Tyreek about the Chiefs.
Right.
To bring that dude back in your locker room, we may need some receivers. I'm not sure like what he said about Tua and Mahomes, what he said. When he left, he kind of left scorched earth, right?
Yeah.
So, like, when you do that, maybe they're all adult enough to bring it back. It would be difficult in the locker room.
Everybody talked greasy at the breakup, and then you go off and you go live your life. You're like, man, things wasn't that bad. Baby, I'm sorry. I can cook dinner sometimes too, right? My bad. I was being selfish.
Put your feet up. We got 2 quarterbacks to analyze, because that's the story of last night. And Graziano, what was your first thought this morning?
I thought that even though he was hurt and didn't play last year, the year that J.J. McCarthy spent in Minnesota last year was more beneficial to his development than the year Caleb Williams spent in Chicago last year was to his. And just because, 2 different head coaches, multiple offensive coordinators, just kind of, didn't really get, his feet under him in the league, even though he was playing. Whereas J.J. McCarthy, the coaching infrastructure there in Minnesota is so strong. The belief from the head coach, Kevin O'Connell, in him is so strong. And apparently, as Kevin mentioned, the team feels the same way. So this is a quarterback who had never played in the NFL before last night, but seemed like he was absolutely ready not only to play, but to continue Minnesota's success from last year. Remember, there's a lot of pressure on this young man. They won 14 games last year, so if he didn't look like he was up to it, it would have gone sour pretty quickly.
Troy Aikman started the night by saying he thinks there's more pressure on McCarthy this year than any other quarterback in the league. And so how do you think his teammates walked out of that stadium last night?
Oh, you walk in that locker room coming off that victory, and you say to each other, hey, Neek, man, we got to do it.
We got our guy. We got our guy.
I'm not worried about that. Yeah. When you go through that level of adversity that he went through in the first half of that ball game, when you throw a pick 6 in the third quarter and it's good night, turn the lights out, and you're able to respond. This throw in the fourth quarter to Justin Jefferson while he's getting hit in the mouth, I think they found out something about their quarterback, that he has the moxie to get us to where we want to go.
They're going to have a great week of practice. I remember getting traded down to Atlanta, and we had Matt Ryan at quarterback. And at the very first throw of the game, he throws a skinny post to Mike Jenkins. He takes it to the crib. The whole feeling of the organization changed on that moment. And I feel like the same thing happened last night, that all those guys know. People are going to be practicing harder on Wednesday. Everybody's going to show up early on Wednesday. They're going to stay late.
Got a chance.
Everything changes when you find out you got a guy like this who can bounce back from a rough start in his first start. It's incredible.
And I think everybody, like to your point, is fired up because they saw it before it happened. Yeah. Like they saw when he came out, they saw when he throws the interception, and then the kid just lets it rip. I mean, it's like, I ain't sweating this. We're going to keep this. And he talked about it in the huddle. You see like what the players said afterwards. They looked in his eyes. He said, I'm going to bring this team back. We're going to win this. Those moments solidify a team extremely.